from family members, from being in the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
with your moms and your aunties. You kind
Yep.
of add your little flair onto it, take what you to
Exactly.
college, and then bam, here you are with your own business, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, as your child, and you're in the kitchen with your mommies and your aunties, what was your favorite dish to make there?
Oh, that's a hard one. Because they had me on desserts all the time. I think my favorites definitely had to be apple pie. Like that's my favorite, and I feel like I've come up with my own like recipe that I've fell in love with and that my clients really love.
Yeah.
Um, Biscuits is like nobody can see me on no biscuit. I'm telling you right
Ooh, I'm gonna call you
now.
out because
Um, so, which is kind of cool because I learned the biscuit recipe originally from my great grandmother. Um, and I would always just kind of watch her how she kind of like kneads the dough and how she takes care with it. And so I took that and kind of like made it my own. And so it's kind of crazy because now there's a competition that I compete in for biscuits and jam, which is kind of cool. And I think the last time I competed and I got third place, which is great. So it turns out it really
yeah,
works.
yeah. So, were you doing competitions while you were in college too? And how did you go about doing those?
Yeah, so I actually didn't know anything about competitions
Uh-huh.
going through culinary school. My very first competition, though, was in 2014 or 15,
Okay.
and it was at a cake show in Fairfax, Virginia.
Oh,
And I entered a tasting cake category cake, basically. And I think it was like a traditional classic pound cake.
yeah.
And I won the category. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I think I could do this a little
Right.
bit.
Right.
And from there, it just kind of like exploded. Like I was finding competitions everywhere where
Wow.
I could travel, where I could do it online. And so my very first biggest competition was in 2015. It was something called the World Food Championships.
Mhm.
And I went there and competed in the dessert category, which was held in Florida. And out of 45 in that category, in the dessert category, I placed 13th. And I
Wow.
was like, oh, okay. I think I got a little hand in this a little
Yeah.
bit. And it just kind of started from there. And so I've been competing every year at that competition. Out of the 8 years that I've competed there, I've placed top 10 6 times.
Wow.
My highest place has been third place.
Yeah.
Um, it's just amazing. I mean, I've competed at the cake show plenty of times, won that a number of times. I've competed in a chili competition that I won. So it's really cool, I guess, to kind of see like the doors that culinary opens up for you,
Right.
because not only has it opened that door, it got me on TV a couple of times. So it's been really a great journey, I will say.
Yeah. Amazing. Because of that, you're able to network with other
Yep,
people that are not in this. Because sometimes when we have our own businesses, we tend to stay within our circles, within the
that's
space,
very true.
and
Yeah.
it takes you out to other states and other countries, and so you meet other people and network, and that's great for your business.
Yes.
That's great for your
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
my next question. So we're going to college. You're finishing. What do finals look like? What do finals in the culinary school look like?
So so with finals, so finals you have to actually put together a 3-course dinner or
Wow.
menu, basically. You have to source all your ingredients, cook all your ingredients in a certain amount of time. You have to plate up everything. You have to learn how to set a table.
Wow.
Um, and then you kind of have like a written part as well for like your surf safe for sanitation and safety and all that. And then they want you to do a stage or kind of like a internship or externship in a restaurant of your choice.
Oh my.
And so it's it's really interesting because even in culinary school with getting hands-on, like I said, the restaurant is going to give you that hands-on experience as well. So it was tough, but I
Yeah.
got through
Yeah.
it. I definitely got through it. So yeah, it went really well.
How did you deal with the stress of it all? And was there ever a point where you were like, I don't know if this is what I want to really do?
Yeah, I think I've been there numerous times, and I'll tell anybody, like, business is hard. I'm not gonna lie, being an entrepreneur is hard because there's so many moving parts to a business.
Right.
And there's been plenty of times when I'm like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I love cooking, but I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
The stress will get you sometimes. And I guess I'm not sure. I want to say I'm not sure how it is in a restaurant because I've never worked in a restaurant, but I've heard stories, of kind of like the long hours, and you don't get the time off and you're not getting breaks and all those things. Being a personal or private chef, it's kind of the same thing. It's a little bit different. I'm constantly going into somebody's home and going into a different kitchen all the time. And I don't necessarily know what I'm going into, who these people are. All I know is I'm going there to cook. That's all I know. So just that alone is very stressful because that takes a lot of detail and a lot of planning ahead with the client and a lot of talking, and it's a lot. So it can be very stressful. I try to take the downtimes and the times that I don't cook as much as I can. But yeah, it can be stressful at times, I will say.
Yeah. That's good that you can do that. So we're looking at being a private chef versus being a chef in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that you're able to make those moves and maybe take a break here and there. Whereas though I can imagine if you're the chef,
correct,
and the owner has a full house, you have to cook. There's maybe to the bathroom. So I do understand that. So you have that choice once you go to culinary school to decide which side of this you like to engage in.
Correct.
So you graduate, you're finished, you passed all your class, you're like, whew, man, brush your shoulders off a little bit.
Right. Right. It's over. It's over.
Celebrate. And now you're like, okay, what do you do next? What did you step into next?
So getting into the business, which has been amazing. And in 2019, I fully went into my business just like full time. And then of course, COVID hit.
Oh my God.
And we all know how COVID went. Nobody was doing anything.
Yeah.
No, and it's kind of crazy because in 2019, I had just, kind of became a full-time entrepreneur, and then COVID hit like March or April the next year. So I only had like a few months.
Right.
But nobody was doing anything.
Yeah.
I had no dinners. I had nothing going on. And so I'm like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? So I ended up doing meal planning for clients, which is great because I can do that and just drop it off and keep going.
Right.
I was able to do some consultation with some restaurants that were still open because at that time, since nobody was really going out, restaurants were kind of closing. Some were kind of like revamping to kind of bring the customers back in. So I did some consulting. So that was a really hard time, I think, at least for me. Yeah. And I was not sure what to do, and I had to supplement money somewhere.
Right.
So I ended up working for a mental health center part-time while I was doing my chef thing. And that kind of opened another door for me because I was like, okay, I started in healthcare. I switched careers to culinary, and now I'm back to healthcare. What is going on? So yeah, I finally did that part-time while I was cooking here and there. And then in, I would say, 2020 of that year with COVID was really a tough year for me because kind of like a backstory before we kind of get into the foundation.
Yeah.
I was dating another chef at the time, and we were talking about trying to build a platform for chefs. What is the things that we really need? What is the things that I went through when I was starting my business? What did I really need? Right. I needed money. I needed to take care of myself, self-care and well-being. And I needed a mentor. I needed someone that's actually been in these places that I wanted to go. to kind of talk to them and kind of get their expertise, their perspective, stuff like that. But before we could kind of like actualize and put it together, he actually passed away by suicide in January of 2020.
Wow.
And in that, it was kind of tough because I'm like, okay, COVID hit, that happened. Like, what is going on?
Right.
So we started a foundation kind of in his honor in April of 2020. And it's called Cook's Creed Foundation. And it's totally opened a whole nother avenue of culinary that I didn't even think about when I first started.
Yeah, I love that. Now, from the other side here, I can see you're into, you're doing health and whatnot.
Yep.
That didn't work out. Then you get into, you're like, I'm chefing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that, because it's kind of similar situation. I teach meditation, and I paid my life for school, and then all the schools closed down. So I can't. You can't cook, but I love the fact that you just said, okay, this is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
What else can I do? What can I do? Keep this rolling and keep it going.
Yes.
And then the universe kind of sent in this mental health job.
Yes.
And now we've coordinated the mental health and the cooking and
Correct. Yes. A whole other avenue that I didn't even think about.
But if you don't keep your eyes open and your heart open, you're like, well, what does one have to do with the other?
Right.
But you were able to put them together.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your organization and how you put mental health and chefing
together. Yeah, so we started the organization in April of 2020. Like I said, it's called Cook's Creed Foundation, and it's based on the 3 pillars of what chefs really need. We need scholarships, we need money. We need mental health resources for our well-being and our self-care. Substance abuse resources as well, because that kind of goes into with mental health. And we need mentorship. Like those are the foundation of what the foundation is.
Yeah.
And we just kind of like build upon that. So my executive board at the time, we kind of thought of some things. What are some things that we can kind of put in place to kind of help chefs and hospitality for the people that's kind of going through the stuff through COVID, that wants to get back in the industry, that some of these high school kids, what do they need? And so we kind of, started talking to other organizations. What are you guys working on? We started talking to restaurants. What are you guys doing? What are you seeing? So it totally blossomed into this thing where we were able to bridge both. And so the way I kind of thought about it was, nobody really talks about like what happens to us in the kitchen. Like nobody wants to talk about it. Like, what is it like when you don't get time off? What is it like when you have to work a 70-hour week? What is it like when you're in a high pressure, fine dining Michelin star restaurant? What is it like at competition? And nobody was really talking about those things, or the little things like nobody talks about, like you go cry in the walk-in. Nobody talks about how you get treated by clients when you go into their home sometimes. And so those are the things that I really wanted to start the conversations on. So that's kind of how that blossomed. And
beautiful.
Now it's kind of like I get people telling me their story, or what can you help me with in this? Can I get a mentor? I'm kind of going through this in the kitchen. How can we, how can I get some help? So that's kind of what the organization's built on.
I love that. That. Before we go to comments, I want to say, this just came to my mind. Chefing, I'm going to call it chefing, is an art form performed under pressure.
Yes.
You don't understand that, because if I crochet, I'm crocheting scarves. I'm in my own little element. I'm in my house. You got people that want things. They send something back. That way you come back and it's constantly going. So it's a lot of pressure. And
it is.
Mental health is very important in that field, as it is in any other field.
Exactly.
So this is very awesome. I'm going to go to comments.
All right.
We have Chuck in the house. He says, good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, Chuck. He says, please like, love, share, and follow Feel Good Talk. Also, to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@feelgoodtalk. He says, I love to
eat. We all love to eat.
And he says, he's got a burger that they named after him called the Chuck Burger.
Really?
Inside Pennsylvania, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
He says that would have been the last day. I was like,
I totally get it. I totally get it.
English. I thought about this. So he says, what is your specialty?
What is my specialty?
Stop stealing my question.
That's a tough one, but my specialty is farm to table and fusion cuisine. Ooh. So I love mixing different cultures together.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw your pictures. My mouth's watering. So his next question is, what are the pros and cons of being, I want to say, a chef?
Some pros. I'll give you some pros first. Pros is you can never have enough people asking you where to go find the best restaurants. Right. You always know where the best restaurants are.
Right.
That's probably the best thing that I like. Because at least when I go to the restaurant, sometimes like the chef will come out and, we'll get some special things. So that's always good. Community, I would say, is good because you kind of meet some like-minded chefs as well. Right. And you kind of see what they're doing. Yeah. Get some new, fresh ideas, new perspectives and stuff like that. What else is a pro? If you love to cook, I think probably one of the things that I love the most, and people are going to be like, I love going to the grocery store because I'm always trying to find something new. I'm trying to always go to a new grocery store all the time.
All right.
The farmer's market is like my best friend. I love the farmer's market. Best farmer's market is hands down, if anybody's in the area, DuPont Circle on Sundays in DC.
DuPont Circle is really nice. And I don't even
it's amazing. Amazing. And some cons, I would have to say it's a lot of detail.
Okay.
I think I write every single thing down.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be very tedious. Sometimes that takes up a lot of time. But I write everything down in detail. Wow. I even draw out what my dishes are going to look like. So it's I think for me, I'm perfectionist. So I want everything to be right. I want everything to be detailed. I want to tell the story with my food. And I know that doesn't sound like a con, but I think for a lot of people, like that's kind of hard. Right. Writing everything down, writing everything in detail. The long hours, I'm not going to lie. There's times that I go to clients' home. I could start a dinner at 6. I won't get home. It's 6 p.m. I won't get home till maybe 1 or 2 in the morning. And then I got to be right back up at 6 for work. Wow. So it's long hours, a lot of driving, a lot of travel.
Right.
And probably the last con would be disappointment. Yeah. Because a lot of times I'll have clients either cancel or I don't get paid on time sometimes.
Oh boy.
I've lost competitions before. Yeah. By making a wrong decision. I should have thought it through a little bit more. Yes. So yeah, there is a lot of disappointment, I will say. It's not always what you see on TV. And I think that's kind of like also the thing too, is kind of like everybody sees these TV shows and chef shows and they're kind of like, wow, like that's amazing. I want to do that. It's a little bit more than what you see on TV. Yeah. It's way more than what you see on TV.
I bet it's a lot
more.
Yeah. Says, Tina Life is in the house. Hi, Tyrone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. He says, good evening, Izzy and special guest Kisha.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We have Arlena Flores. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hey, Arlena.
Tyrone Rick says, Feel Good Talk is more than a podcast. It's a college, baby.
Hey.
Kiba Cooks is in the house. Says,
hey, Kiba.
Charles says, wow, sorry for your loss. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. It was definitely It was definitely tough. Lots of therapy, I will say.
Yeah.
Lots of great therapy, I will say as well. So it happens, you know. You don't think it's gonna happen that way, I
Right.
think. But yeah, I kind of felt at that time I wanted to take that grief and turn it into something else.
Yeah.
So,
That's a beautiful.
yeah.
You did a very awesome job at doing that.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we have the pros and the cons that you were talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
one of those I wanted to touch on is when you have your own business. You know, people, they see everything on Facebook. They see the smiles, the laughter, the pretty plates,
Right.
pretty platters, but they don't see that it's not like Walmart. Walmart has a huge team of people to make everything work.
Right.
Your own business is different. You have good
That's
days.
very true.
Sometimes clients come, sometimes they don't. They're off seasons and there's good seasons.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to prepare yourself. But when you're in the beginning, it takes time.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but I love this story. I love this. There, and you're thinking of being a chef. We have this on replay. You can watch it over and over and over again. I'll also provide you with the information for Kisha's page, her webpage for her business, also for her nonprofit organization that she has that is absolutely beautiful. And so, you know, you're chefing, you graduated, you have your own business.
Mm-hmm.
This is my question. I've never had a chance to ask a chef. Do you get tired of your own food?
That's a great question.
Over here.
My
own food.
Do I get tired of my own food? No.
No.
I don't. I don't.
I
don't. And it's kind of funny because I feel like I try to cook different things all the time. Yeah. My family, however, though, is not that adventurous. So with my boyfriend, I get to try out different dishes on him all the time. Yeah. And he usually likes everything. So but yeah, I don't get tired of my own food. I have to say I make really good food. So all
had that you infuse in things. I like trying new things. So I get bored with my food because I, number one, don't even know what to put together.
I got you.
They're made up of TikTok videos that moms that are said are good.
Right, I got you. Now there are some TikTok videos that make some really good food, I will say.
This is the basic one. So I can imagine, like, when you say that you're going to like a world market per se and getting all these different flavors, that they must be like off the chain.
Yeah. I mean,
pictures.
Yeah, the different, I think that's probably the thing that I like the most, I guess, about cooking is that when I'm doing fusion cooking, like I love taking like different ingredients from different aisles and putting them together. And I guess that the way that I kind of think about it is like, okay, well, if I got this seasoning, I got this sauce, it can go with this style of cooking, it can go with that style of cooking. Yeah. And I try to implement different styles of cooking in every dish that I do. Yeah. So it's always going to be different, right? But somehow, some way, I can remember every single thing that I put in the dish, which that took a long time to do. But I can remember every single thing that I put in the dish and recreate the dish the same way every single time.
Wow. That's wonderful. I cannot. We're gonna meet up one day, and I'm like,
yes.
You're joking in the back about grilled cheese sandwiches, but I know that if you made it, it would have like a different twist to it. You know what I mean?
Right. Now I love like I said, I love some regular grilled cheese, but I can sprinkle a little something on there.
Yeah. So, what are your customers' favorites?
Customer favorites. One is, and it's actually one of my favorites too. It's a limoncello blueberry pound cake. Ooh. I absolutely love that. It just has like a blueberry compote. It has a limoncello cream curd. It's so good. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my clients' favorites. Yeah. Something that I constantly do all the time, and I try to get my clients out of this because I'm like, there's always different types cuts of steak. You don't have to have filet all the time. Right. But what I try to do is like change up the different seasonings on it, the different marinades on the filet. But everybody loves filet. Uh-huh. I do sea bass all the time, salmon all the time. Yeah. A couple of different things that they really love.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm hungry. Butter. So Chuck, do you want to go? We can go to commercial break really quick and then come back, and I'll have some more questions for you and some thoughts you to share with our community.
Sure, absolutely.
And we're back. That is the A Game. If you need to questions about the A Game, definitely reach out to Chuck. He has free samples for everyone. And we haven't done this in a long time. He's got 2 or 3. It's a side joke. I'll tell you later. Flying on the show, so be sure to contact him to get your free samples. We are here today with Executive Chef Kisha Washington. She is absolutely amazing. I've only met her this one time. And on the phone. And it's awesome. She has her own business and her own organization. And so we're just sitting here picking her brain, loving her energy. And so if you have any other questions, be sure to put those in the chat. We have another one. Chef Kisha is amazing. Oh, thank you,
Arlena.
Terrence Michael Tomlinson.
Hey. Oh, that's my mom.
Kisha Washington says, proud mama. He is so beautiful, beautiful, beautiful personality. Wow, that sounds good. I know, Chuck. I'm thinking and she's so close by, so I'm going to have to.
Right.
I will not call last minute because I asked her, I said, hey, can you whip up something to put on the show today? She was like, not actually the executive chef. I'm like, next time I'll give you a little bit more time.
Was it worth it? Yes. Yes.
So for those who are just tuning in, Kisha went from being in healthcare, decided, been in healthcare for a while, said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore. Went into culinary arts, went to college for this, and she just took a step into faith and said, hey, I'm going to try this out. Loved it. Went through, chopping up the animals in the first class.
Right.
Got through the front, graduated, and went on to having her own business and now her own organization. And this is awesome because, from this side, you can see the growth. You can see how you were led to do these 2 things and how they both come together.
Yeah.
I think that is super awesome. And so my next question, I do believe you have a book.
I do.
Yes.
So besides all the many other things, I can now add author to my title, I guess. But yes, I published a book June 30th, which is really cool. It's called Cultivating Healthy Minds, a mental health guide for mental health resources for chefs and hospitality individuals. And basically in this book, it has my personal story.
Yeah.
We did research, and this took us about a year and a half. We did research on all 50 states of their mental health websites, facilities. We did all local, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We did resources for men, for women, for veterans, for LGBTQ+. We did all kinds of different resources, meditation, simple breathing techniques, work environments. We kind of wanted to beat everybody over the head. You need these resources.
Right.
And one of the things that's special about the book to me is not only just the statistics and the research, we had numerous contributors contribute to the book, which is really cool. So we had a nurse practitioner that was added, multiple organizations that kind of do the same work that we do in their community, numerous chefs telling their stories and how they're changing kitchen culture. So it just was an amazing project. And actually it's volume 1 and it's part of a 3-part series. So we actually get to start volume 2 this month on research, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, it's the book is amazing. So you definitely have to grab that on Amazon and Barnes and Noble online and Walmart.com. It's all over the place now, which I'm super excited about.
Yes, we're going to definitely put those links on. So, and I want to encourage people to buy it for yourself. If you don't want it yourself, buy it, keep it, and you'd be surprised. You hold on to that book and you'll see somebody like, oh, what? I have this book on hand. I need to hand it. That's what I do with books. I like to hold on to them.
Yeah.
And, someone else will need that book.
Exactly.
I am just, my heart is so full because this is the first time I've ever been on a podcast where I've seen something come full circle. Like come full circle, and you have this one thing and another thing, and it just comes together. It works out. So I'm just gonna put a little tip out there. Documentary. I'm not gonna
documentary. I love that idea. Love that idea.
That would be awesome.
That would be so awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I love this. Now I'm holding you to it to come on. Maybe some of the things that you make. That would be awesome. We'll set your camera and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to figure out how to set up everything. But that would be really cool to come on and cook for you all. Yeah, absolutely.
I would love that. I don't know if we have any more comments, but before we go, I wanted to know if the book. We got it covered.
Thank you.
Chuck says congratulations. William Bird is in the house. He's one of the 2 love birds from the Feel Good Talk. Says hello to our special guest. Again, tell us the title. Oh, we'll put that. Yes.
Yeah, the title is Cultivating Healthy Minds.
Yes. And I'll make sure I put that inside once we finish this live. That way you can click on it easily. Hey, Feel Good Talk family. Wendy Inspires in the house. Thank you for tuning in, Wendy. Love it. Oh my gosh. I want to hug her. I love it. We got the book. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wendy says, hey, Queen.
Hey.
We appreciate you for tuning in. William Bird says, thank you. You're welcome, family.
Healthy minds. Exactly.
Healthy minds. I love it. People don't think of mental health when it comes to chefs and other people. They think, police officers, and stuff like that. But everybody needs it.
Everybody needs it.
And that field is stressful because you're trying to please everyone and make everyone happy in their moment, whether it's a wedding or whether it's a funeral or whatever. It's a lot of stress to put on one person. And then if you're super blessed, you might have an assistant or a staff.
Right. right.
Or a personal assistant, maybe.
Exactly, maybe. But right. You're absolutely right.
You are everything.
Yes.
Accountant, you're the marketing, and so that's he says get the book. I love it. So I'm gonna ask you, what would you leave with those who are going into the chef business, are already in the chef business? What words of advice would you like to leave with our community?
If you're going in the chef business, probably one of the first things I would say, get a mentor. Get someone that's actually been where you want to go.
Yeah.
And pick their brain, ask the questions, get their perspective. I can't stress that enough because at least you'll see someone that's actually been there, but will at least help you walk through it.
Right.
So that's definitely one thing that's important. And probably the second thing and probably the last thing, you got to take care of yourself. Because I kind of feel like if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. And food is taking care of others. So
I love it. I'm so happy. And that you came on today.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, we have another comment. Cheryl Hill Washington says, I'm so excited. Working in the field in mental health fields makes this podcast exciting. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You don't want to leave anybody out. And I just think that when you're in that field, like I said, people just think, they're okay. They're just
right
back, like trying to figure things out.
right exactly exactly
A huge, it's an art form.
it is
Inspire says mentorship is very important. Yes, it is.
yeah
Yes, it is. So we always say, once you're a part of our family, you'll always be a part of our family.
thank you
Anything that you need, anytime you want to share,
yeah
always you're part of our family, and we love
thank you.
So what we're gonna do is put all of her links and everything. Please reach out, follow her. Be sure to buy the book. Save it. Christmas is just around the corner.
Yes.
They already got Halloween stuff out. I feel a lot of pressure on.
Right. I know. It's right around the corner.
So before we leave, we always leave a heart to say that we love you guys. And we will see you again soon. Thank you, Kisha. We love you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.